And with me is the Chief Minister, fresh from the Excellence Awards last night. Did you enjoy that with John Coleshaw?
Yeah, it was a very good night. I think it was a very appropriate night, bearing in mind that it's the centenary of commemorating the First World War, and I think the whole theme last night worked really well. The entertainment was superb, with John Coleshaw in particular, who compared the whole evening and in a very effective way, and kept the whole event moving very, very well.
What was the thrust of your speech, the big bit? There was, we're all in this together, wasn't it, or something?
Yes, it is. The event itself is always a community event. It's not just a business event or a specific interest. It's a chance, the one chance a year I have to speak to a good cross-section of the community, business, those from the third sector, those from from government as well in many cases. And it's just an opportunity to try to encourage the Allan to work closer together and just to celebrate what we can do, what we can achieve when the Allan does pull together and the whole community.
It seemed upbeat as well. People, because there's so much networking going there. There did seem to be a buzz about it this year. In other years it's been more probably subdued, but
it was. I thought the whole atmosphere was good. It's a great networking opportunity, as you know. It's a great chance for the private sector to meet the third sector, to meet government. There's a lot of government members there as well, and it's just a great coming together of the Allan in a very positive way. I mean, we hear so much negativity on the Allan. There's so much carping and Manx crabs and everything, which is unbelievably demoralising at times. Even recognising the difficult period we're going through, it's a great time to say, yes, okay, there are problems, but at the same time, there's a huge amount of positivity. It's a lot of really good work going on the island, not just within government, but with great successes in the business community. The economy is growing, unemployment is low. The third sector and the other side of government, the public services that we provide, are excellent services in the main, and it's a chance to celebrate those sort of unsung heroes that we don't often hear about, but work tirelessly behind the scenes in whatever their area is. It's a great night.
Let's talk about the Freedom of Information bill that is finally coming forward, but there's so many sort of provisos in there. First of all, you won't be able to go back to previous administrations. It's going to be dripped in. Going to be very limited to start with. Who can get this information? It's got to be a Manx resident or something as well.
Yes, there are some obvious restrictions. I gave a commitment, as you know, when I first became Chief Minister, to open government, to make it more transparent, more accountable. It's taken us a little while to get to where we are today, but this is the outcome of that commitment. We have had a consultation period. We've studied the legislation in the UK and the Channel Islands and one or two other areas. We've studied the problems that all those areas have received when they brought their legislation in. And if I can just quote Tony Blair, one thing which always sticks in my mind, in spite of the other doubtful decisions that he's made, he has mentioned that the Freedom of Information introduction was the biggest mistake he made. Now, we want to make sure that whilst on the one hand we are transparent, we do give the public as much information as we possibly can. We want to make sure it's going to work, and also that it's affordable, and we're not going to land the taxpayer with a multi-million pound bill for its operation.
How much will it cost then at this first tranche?
I don't know what the figure is. It's at the moment, the way we're going about introducing it, it shouldn't be as expensive as it might otherwise have been.
Which is £1 million for Jersey, for instance. They keep quoting,
yes, well, actually, I think it was a bit more than that. And certainly at the present time, we couldn't afford to pay the initial assessment of £2 or £3 million a year to fund this. So what we're doing is introducing it by stages. We are giving access to the Cabinet Office and DEFRA to begin with as a test run really on both those areas, see how that works, and then roll it out to the rest of government shortly afterwards.
Will this clear up the Pinewood Studios sort of thing that came up again this week about who's getting what, and there seems to be a fog there to some degree, certainly Kate Breecroft thinks
there's one member who's generating a fog. If the member actually came into Treasury or Economic Development, she would be able to get all the information she wants. She's creating the fog.
Grandstanding, lecturing, what?
Absolutely, whichever way you want it. I don't know what you would call it. You have to ask what her motives are. But it is not helpful. that it was made very clear when Tynwald voted in favour of the Pinewood deal that Cinema NX, which is Steve Christian, would continue to advise on the management of the film fund. There's no fog around that. It was crystal clear, and it's, I think, damaging to the Isle of Man's interest to continue this way. And frankly, in the not too distant future, we will find it increasingly difficult to get members of the private sector to work with government if their reputations are going to be shredded on the floor of Tynwald.
But you have said that confidentiality in the future will be much, limited. Are you going to be much more transparent? I mean, we've got the post office situation. I interviewed the man from Spa, the Heron Braley, and of course he said it's confidential what information and how we're doing it. Will that change in the future? Will we be able to find that information out, or will that always be held as a, no, we can't find
Well,
that?
we've already made the decision and the announcement that there will be a presumption against confidentiality on any government contracts in the future. There will be certain occasions where there is a necessity for confidential treatment, but I want to limit that as far as possible. I do accept the criticism, and I think I've used it myself in some cases over the years, that in the past I think we've probably been too defensive, and that we've used the confidentiality where frankly it wasn't really needed.